In section 2 of chapter 8, the sampling error is discussed. By definition, sampling is used to calculate sample statistics, which are estimates of population parameters. So there will always be a difference, and usually unknown, between the sample statistic and the population parameter. This difference is called sampling error. For example, the difference between the average of the sample and the average of the population. The difference between the standard deviation of the sample and the standard deviation of the population. The variance of the sample and the variance of the population. P is the proportion of the sample and pi the proportion of the population. Nothing to do with the pi value using in mathematics, the 3.1416 value. Well, if you're investigating, for example, the average age of students at West Georgia, well, you might select, let's say, 50 students. And so you take value number 1, maybe somebody is 19, another 21, etc., until you reach the last person, and you divide by 50. And you will obtain, let's say, a value of 20.81. So that will be in years, of course. That will be your average age from your sample. But you know that this number is not going to be exactly equal to mu, the actual average age of all West Georgia students. So you get your 20.81 minus mu from the population. That will be your sampling error. All right, so we'll calculate from your sample a standard deviation. Okay, first calculate your variance using the formula for the variance. So just using Excel, the command equal var, then parentheses, whatever the cell range is, and then the square root of that will be the standard deviation. Or remember, you can also use the stdev command. Now, in relation to proportion, suppose you're also looking at West Georgia, and except that you want to know the proportion of female students. At West Georgia. Okay, and you take a sample of 60, and you find the proportion of female students at West Georgia is out of 60 in your sample. You find your X is defined as the number of females. You find that number to be 34. Okay, and you know that the total is 60. So what is your proportion? Your proportion is 34 over 60. Remember, P is the proportion of the sample. Now 34 divided by 60 equals 0.5666. So you conclude then that about 56.67% of the students at West Georgia is female. That is your proportion from your sample, but you know that this proportion is not going to be exactly equal to the proportion of the population, all West Georgia student, which is pi. Okay, so this will be your sampling error. In this case, 0.5666 minus the actual value of the proportion of the total student body.